Now on BBC One Scotland, earlier than billed, the early evening BBC News with Jane Hill.
Ukraine and Russia are to hold peace talks without preconditions after 4 days of intense fighting. It follows another night of heavy shelling with a missile strike hitting an oil terminal not far from the capital, Kyiv. Ukrainian troops fight street to street in the country's second biggest city, Kharkiv, after Russian ground forces entered overnight.
Злочинні дії Росії проти України мають ознаку геноциду.
Russia's criminal actions against Ukraine show signs of genocide. I talked about this with the UN Secretary General. Russia is on the path of evil.
Despite the prospect of talks, President Putin puts his nuclear arsenal on a high state of alert.
Western countries are not only taking unfriendly steps against our country in the economic dimension, but the top officials of leading NATO countries also make aggressive statements with regards to our country.
The European Union announces tougher new sanctions, including closing its airspace to Russian airlines.
Let me be very clear. Our airspace will be closed to every Russian plane, and that includes the private jets of oligarchs too.
Poland says at least 200,000 refugees have crossed from Ukraine since the Russian invasion began.
What hope for peace talks given there are no ceasefire preconditions? Tonight we're still hearing heavy fire over Kyiv.
Hello, good afternoon. Ukraine has agreed to hold talks with Russia at a location on the border between Ukraine and Belarus. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Belarus's leader had agreed to take responsibility for ensuring that all planes, helicopters and missiles stationed on Belarusian territory remain on the ground during the talks. Earlier this afternoon, President Putin ordered his military commanders to put their nuclear deterrence forces on special alert in response to what he called NATO aggression. Russian troops have entered Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, in the east of the country. Tanks and armoured vehicles have been seen on the streets. The city's mayor said Ukrainian forces have retaken full control there after street battles with Russian troops. An oil depot southwest of the capital was also hit. But a feared overnight air raid on the capital, Kyiv, did not materialise. A curfew remains in place until tomorrow morning, with the city's nearly 3 million residents told to stay indoors. If they venture onto the streets, they've been told they'll be treated as saboteurs as the Ukrainian army seeks out Russian forces. Our first report tonight is from Nick Beake.